The Denver Broncos are searching for more production from the tight end position. Yes, we did see Adam Troutman step up in their victory over the Carolina Panthers, went over 80 yards and caught a touchdown. We also saw Nate Atkins catch a touchdown on National Tight Ends Day, but I still believe that the Broncos need a player who can A, stretch the field vertically, and B, be a more consistent contributor as a run blocker. We have talked about a couple of different players that the Denver Broncos could potentially add as the November 5th trade deadline approaches, but we have yet to talk about this player, and that is Evan Engram of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are currently sitting at 2-6. They go into Philadelphia this week, and they're going to probably fall to 2-7. At that point, they could be very willing to be sellers ahead of the trade deadline. We already saw them trade away Cam Robinson, their left tackle, to the Minnesota Vikings today. So that at least showcases that the Jaguars are listening to trade offers for certain players. And Engram has been named amongst fans and media as a possible guy who the Jaguars could be looking to offload. Now, for me, Evan Engram is a guy who could definitely help stretch the field vertically, but I don't know necessarily what he would bring as a run blocker. I don't think that is a very good element of his game. So, Evan Engram would probably not be the tight end that I would immediately target for the Denver Broncos. We've talked about David Njoku quite a bit. I think David Njoku would be a great fit, but it's looking like the Browns are less likely to trade him now that they at least have some resemblance of decent quarterback play with Jameis Winston, and they're kind of hoping that maybe they can revive their season now that they've got Winston in there. David Njoku looks like he's already got more chemistry with Jameis Winston than he ever did with Deshaun Watson, so I think that Njoku might stay put. Engram, I don't know, man. Let's go ahead and bring in his stats real quick, courtesy of Google. Evan Engram on the year, 20 catches, 178 yards, and a touchdown. He has missed some games this year with an injury. I just don't think that Evan Engram would be a smart play for the Denver Broncos, especially 30 years old. David Njoku's only 28, so you probably at least have a couple more years of production out of a guy like David Njoku. And for me, if the Denver Broncos were to make a trade, if the Denver Broncos were to make a trade, I think it would be with the next couple of years in mind as opposed to just this year in mind. A guy like David Njoku would definitely be in the plans for the Denver Broncos as we enter 2025 and 2026, when the Broncos are expected to be in more of a competitive window. This year, I think the Broncos have a very strong chance to make the playoffs, and I do want them to make a move to maybe bolster their weaponry core as we enter this really tough stretch of their schedule. But by that same token, I also understand the logic of wanting to hold on to your draft picks to accumulate assets for the future. But if you can accumulate assets for the future now, then I don't see why you wouldn't do that. Evan Engram, for me, does not really fit that bill as much as a guy like David Njoku would, so I am staying away from Evan Engram. We're going to make another video tomorrow talking about another possible player on the Jacksonville Jaguars who could be a trade target for the Denver Broncos, who I feel like would make more sense than a guy like Evan Engram. But for me, I'm staying away from Engram. I'm going to focus my attention on a guy like David Njoku because Engram, not really a contributor as a run blocker. He's more of just a pure vertical threat, which would help this offense. I just think that you would be better off investing those draft assets in somebody like David Njoku. You could probably give up like a 5th round pick for David Njoku. And for Engram, yeah, it would probably only be like a 6th round pick, but I just think there are better fits out there for this offense. I am curious, Broncos country, do you think that Evan Engram could be a realistic trade target for the Denver Broncos? And do you think that he would be a good fit in this Sean Payton offense? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.